Anyway, Sharat Spadam Matamai Mayam.
Sharat Spadam Matamaya. Vastam Yad Brahmavadivihi. Yena Mam Abhayam Nyaya. Mrityam Richanti Adakvidaha. Anyone else want to chant? Yeah.
Shraddhat Swaitam Madhamaya. Yasam Yadram Bhakti. Yena Mahamaya.
Is anyone chanting? Okay. All right.
Shraddhat Swaitam Matam Munyam.
Shadat Swaitam Madamayam.
Shram Yat Brahmavadibihi.
Shram Yat Brahmavadivihi. Yena Mahamabhayam Nyaya. Okay, we move on to text 12, which we need to cover both 11 and 12. Maitreya Uvacha. Yeah, I'll come. Yeah, we'll do it together, 11 and 12. Maitreya Uvacha. Iti pradarshya Bhagavan. Satim tam atmano gatim. Swamatra Brahma Vadinya. Kapilo Numato Yayo. Yeah, okay. So I'll do translation word by word. You may repeat that. Shadatsva. You may rest assured. Yedat. About this. Matam. Instruction. Mahyam. My. Justam. Followed. Yet. Which. Brahmavadibihi. By transcendentalists. Yena. By which. Mam. Unto me. Abhayam. Without fear. Yayaha. You shall reach. Mrityum. Death. Rinchati. Attain. Atat vidaha. Persons who are not conversant with this. Text 12. Maitreya Uvacha. Maitreya said. Iti. Thus. Pradarshya. After instructing. Bhagavan. The Supreme Personality of Godhead. Satim. Venerable. Tam. That. Atmanaha. Of self-realization. Katim. Path. Swamatra. From his mother. Brahmavadinya. Self-realized. Kapilaha,
Kapilaha,
Lord Kapila,
Lord Kapila,
Anumataha
Anumataha,
took permission.
took permission.
Yayao
Devi
left.
left.
We'll do the translation and purport by A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupad. Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
My dear mother, you can repeat that.
My dear mother,
Those who are actually transcendentalists
those who are actually transcendentalists
certainly follow my instructions
certainly follow my instructions
as I have given them to you.
as I have given them to you.
You may rest assured that
You may rest assured that
if you traverse this path
if you travel this path
of self-realization perfectly,
of self-realization perfectly,
surely you shall be freed from
surely you shall be free from
fearful material contamination
fearful material contamination
and shall ultimately reach me.
and shall ultimately reach me.
Mother, persons who are not conversant
Persons who are not conversant
with this method of devotional service
with this method of devotional service
certainly
certainly
cannot get out of the cycle of birth and death.
cannot get out of the cycle of birth and death.
Textual translation. Sri Maitreya said,
Yes,
the Supreme Personality of Godhead Kapila,
Supreme Personality of Godhead Kapila,
after instructing his beloved mother,
after instructing his beloved mother,
took permission from her
took permission from her
and left his home,
and left his home,
his mission having been fulfilled.
his mission having been fulfilled.
I'll just read the purport. 11, text 11. Material existence is full of anxiety and therefore it is fearful. One who gets out of this material existence automatically becomes free from all anxieties and fear. One who follows the path of devotional service enunciated by Lord Kapila is very easily liberated. Text 12. The mission of the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Kapila was to distribute the transcendental knowledge of Sankhya philosophy, which is full of devotional service. Having imparted that knowledge to his mother, and through his mother to the world, Kapiladev had no more need to stay at home. So he took permission from his mother and left. Apparently, he left home for spiritual realization. Although he had nothing to realize spiritually, because he himself is the person to be spiritually realized, therefore, this is an example set by the Supreme Personality of Godhead while acting like an ordinary human being, so that others might learn from him. He could, of course, have stayed with his mother, but he indicated that there was no need to stay with the family. It is best to remain alone as a brahmachari, sannyasi, or vanaprastha and cultivate Krishna consciousness throughout one's whole life. Those who are unable to remain alone are given license to live in household life with wife and children, not for sense gratification, but for cultivation of Krishna consciousness. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manovrisham Satyam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Karamayam Padarthi Patantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Yudapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sakrajadam Sahagana Raghunatham Vidam Tham Sajivam Sadvaidam Savadudam Parijana Sajihitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalitam Shri Vishakhan Vidam Shah Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Janapati Visha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Kanta Kanchana Gaurangira Shri Sati Devi Namami Hari Priya Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Bhukle Krishna Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prashani Vishesho Yavadi Prashani Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasti Gautanda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay. So we are covering two texts today. One is 11 that is talking about how Kapila Muni has finished instructing to Mother Devahuti, and second text is it's finished giving the instructions, and then second text which is 12 is talking about he's leaving the home after taking permission from his mother. So what we want to cover today is the relationship between God's mothers and God. So we know so many of them, but we'll pick maybe 2 or 3. And before that, I wanted to talk about what's going on in today's world also in terms of relationship between mother and son, or mother and daughter, or transgender, whatever the case may be. So let's say, to be simplified, mother and a child. And I was reading an article from yesterday. The mother from Sydney, she abandoned newborn baby in the backyard and left. And the police was so concerned about this incident. They were concerned about the well-being of the mother also. So we don't know what was the background, the history of why the mother left the child. We don't know anything about it, but just looking at it. And this is not uncommon either. Mother Kunti Devi did that as well to Karna. This has been happening time immemorial. But they have their own, could be genuine reasons also why they do what they do. But it is unfortunate for breaking the relationship, which is supposed to be nourished. And and these days, especially the teenagers, they get distressed very quickly, according to the statistics as well. And whatever the mother or father, however they express or manifest their love towards their children, they still have this tendency because of, as doctors say, the hormonal changes, whatnot. They just behave in such a way that they are very, repellent. So they don't want to go along with the society, rather being revolutionist or whatnot. And coming back again to today's world, I was reading another article from last week where the mother is very fond of having as many children as she could. What she did was she posted a note in a Facebook asking for a donor, and sperm donor. And then she did that. She was doing that for probably a couple of children. First couple of children from the father, who's not with them anymore. See, that the relationship with the Western world, it's a bit strange how it happens. They say, oh, this is from father 1 and this is from father 2. This is from unknown father. This was the case from this actual happening of this with this lady. And they're very proud of it. She was very proud of this. And she, in fact, encouraged other ladies who wanted to become a mother to go with this idea of what she did. And yeah, so this message for some of you might be, make you feel uncomfortable. But let me tell you anyway, you can disregard it if you don't want it. So she booked the hotel, and the man came, and she has no idea of the identity of the man, and the same case with the man as well. Doesn't know about the lady. He goes, he does what he has to do in the bathroom, and then he comes out, he leaves the place and texts her saying that the job is done. And then she goes back with an injection. So she says it is available online or something. And then she goes and then does this to herself, injects IV or something like that. And then there you go, she became pregnant. She became very happy about it. See, sometimes the ladies doesn't want to get involved with the relationship, therefore they just choose this kind of path. And again, I'm not here to say whether it is right or wrong. It's personal choices, because they probably might have had bad experience in the past where they don't want to get into men's relationship. That's fine. But this is the case in Kali Yuga at the moment. It went to extreme. That's my point I'm trying to make. Yes, Kunti did what she did, but she regretted very much as well. Maybe this mother yesterday also, she might have regretted, but oh yeah. So what happened to the lady with this having 4 children now through the process of what I just described? I don't think it happened anywhere in Satya Yuga or Treta or Dwapara Yuga. But there was a process of where through, by looking, the yogis would conceive the ladies, like Satyavati she became pregnant, Parashara Muni, by just looking. And the same with Vyasadeva. There is a process of this, and it is called something technically Yanoni or something like that. Can't remember, but yeah, there is a process where jnanis or yogis do this process. They don't want to get contaminated of this process, therefore they just do this through eyesight or just by blessing or just heart transferring as well, like how Krishna did from Vasudeva to Devaki. These technologies did exist, in last yugas and previous yugas as well. So it's not a surprise. And coming back here with the text of this 33:11. So the important word we should take here is fearful material contamination. Remember how Mother Devahuti started the entire conversation when Kadama Muni wanted to leave. Oh, how do I live? I'm so fearful. That's where it all started. She was fearful. And now the fearful has been dissipated by the instruction of Krishna. I mean, Lord Kapila Dev, who is an incarnation of Krishna. So and again, yesterday's verse also, we were talking about Mata Vatshala. So Krishna is Bhakta Vatshala. He is not Yogi Vatshala or Jnani Vatshala or anything like that, but he is Bhakta Vatshala. That means he is inclined to care the devotees more compared to any other, species or followers. So another point we should take here is Brahmavadibihi, Brahmavadinahi. So 11 and 12 both talk about this particular phrases, Brahmavadinya, text 12, and Brahmavadibihi from text 11, both means transcendentalists, Brahmavadis, just simplifying. So Brahmavadis who are realized, Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma, so who are realized on their state of consciousness. So that means understanding I am Brahman, right? And Krishna is Parabrahma and we are Brahman. So realizing oneself that is not material, we are not material, rather we are spiritual. So that is Brahman realization. Not just that, but that again we talked about Sambandha, Abhidaya, Prayojana, like Mataji mentioned. So the relationship we should establish or understand or re-establish. It's not that we are establishing anything new, it's already exists. Just need to become aware of that again, fact that so there is material nature, Prakriti, and there is Jivas, souls, and there is Paramatma, Krishna, and we are all connected. So understanding the relationship between you and Paramatma, you and Krishna, you and material nature and Krishna. So understanding the relationship between these factors, these elements, make you become Brahman realized or Brahmavadi. So when we talk about the relationship between Kapila Muni and Devahuti is very interesting. I know definitely he was very much like a loving son of Mother Devahuti and Kardama Muni. But to me personally, I found Sachinandana, he was more loving towards Mother Sachi than Kapila Dev towards Mother Devahuti, because here, again, it is my personal opinion, you may correct me. He was more instructive than loving. He was just doing his job, his duty, and then just, wash your hand and then leave, I'm done. It's not like he continued the relationship post-sannyas, but rather he just finished what he has to do. Yeah, I gave you instruction, Kardama Muni, Father asked me to do it, I've done that. But again, of course, when Krishna came and gave Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, he picked Arjuna to give that knowledge. Through him, the knowledge was transferred to all other living entities, right? And we see that Even Krishna said that to Arjuna, that this knowledge existed even before. I told this knowledge, I gave this knowledge to the sun god Vivaswan millions of years ago. And that means, and again, Kapila Dev also say the same thing. He says, I have already, as I have instructed this knowledge to the sages once, I'm repeating this to you. So what do we understand from that is Krishna is not recreating any doctrine. He's not. He's capable of giving you brand new technology every time, brand new knowledge every time, but he doesn't do that. He doesn't choose to give you, okay, Arjuna, I give you this version 1 and Devahuti version X, and to you guys in Kali Yuga, I'll give you version 7. No, he gave the same knowledge over and over again to different people. Bhagavad Gita we see, then Bhagavad Gita we see, Lord Kapila's instructions, everything repeated in the same manner. It's no change at all. So from that we understand Krishna wants to go with the same information we got, whether it's millions of years ago or 5,000 years ago or from Srila Prabhupada just decades ago. Doesn't matter. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Gauranitai ki. So he doesn't want to change that. So we shouldn't be changing that either. Srila Prabhupada often says, you don't have to manufacture the information from Bhagavad Gita. You just repeat what Krishna spoke. It's so easy, copy paste it. How easy would that be, right? You don't have to reinvent the wheels. You're just creating, you just of course, when you're retelling the story or retelling the slokas purport, of course, you might bring your own purport. That's fine, as per the, desha, kala, patra, time, place, and circumstances. That is okay. However, we are not changing the essence of the instructions. So that's the main point we are trying to learn from here. And two things we are learning from text 11. One is, you shall be freed from fearful material contamination. Yenamam abhayam yaya. So abhayam, bayam means fear, abhayam means without fear, we all know that. And shall ultimately reach me. Yaya, you shall reach. So there are two things that happens. So what happens when you don't do this? Krishna always gives you this instruction. Follow this, you get this. If you don't follow this, you don't get this. Or you will get that. Isha Upanishad also says that when you follow this demoniac path, you will fall into the darkest hellish regions. He repeatedly says that in Isha Upanishad. Isha Upanishad is not coming from him directly, but of course from his followers. But the point is, that's the learning that we take from Isha Upanishad also, or any other Vedas. Vedasya Sharvam Ahameva Vedyo Vedanta Vid Veda. So then again, it is said in the purport in the second one, the 12th one, Prabhupada says that when he leaves the home for spiritual realization, what does he need to realize spiritually when he is the object of spiritual realization, correct? He is the object of love. He is the object of meditation. He is the object of Vedas, the essence of Vedas, Vedanta. What is that Kapila Muni, going out and going for this spiritual realization, right? So he also gives the warning through Mother Devahuti, not to Mother Devahuti, that if person who are not understanding what I've said, or not following the instructions I have given you, this method of devotional service, certainly will not get out of the samsara saga. Not get out of this cycle of birth and death. They're going to take birth repeatedly. I know one person, he says that I don't want to follow the devotional service to the fullest like you guys, because I'm not ready yet. Rather, I am happy to take birth. Because I told him once, Swalpa Piyashya Dharmashya Trayate Mahato Bhayat. Krishna definitely guarantees you where you leave the bhakti in one lifetime, you will continue that from the next lifetime. He said, he told me, because you said that Krishna spoke like this, therefore, I am sure that I'll continue from where I live. I said, you're rich, you're in a such favorable atmosphere, you're healthy, you're peaceful, you have all the opulence that one might be hankering for, but still you choose not to do the devotional service. You have all the facilities that is arranged. You often get in touch with the representatives of the Lord, directly or indirectly, through messages or by coming to the temple or going to the devotee's house. But somehow you have that connection, but still you choose not to perform the devotional service because you are fearful of losing the material enjoyment to some extent. Therefore, you're not ready to do it. But yes, I said that Krishna guarantees you. But because we have this independent will or freedom, Krishna allows you to do what you wanted to do, whether good or bad. Krishna gives all the instruction, good and bad, in the Vedas. But still, who doesn't know what is good, what is not good? Even the baby would know what is good and what is not. The baby would know, right? It wouldn't go and, as I was saying, the same example last time, the newborn baby would go and suck the mother's breast for the milk, just brand new. I was surprised myself. And how it happens. When it happened to me, I was surprised. It is true what Prabhupada said in the pulpit. I can see that. But the same baby doesn't go and suck something else when he is hungry. So similarly, the ant will go directly to the sugar particle or the food. It doesn't go randomly to go touch the paint and eat the paint. Correct? So who doesn't have the knowledge of discriminating the right and wrong, good and bad? What to speak of the jnanis, yogis, then bhaktas, or someone who is educated to some extent, who doesn't know. It's just for the sake of argument, one shouldn't say that, well, why God approves your bad doings? Because you wanted to do it. Brahma himself regretted. In Bhagavatam, we see that he himself regretted after creating this mode of ignorance, and along with that, all these anarthas, when he created, he regretted. Krishna, why I have to do this job? Yamaraj regretted. Why I have to do this job? Ganga Devi regretted. Why I have to take all the impious actions from these people who dip in my water? But there always been an answer. Devotees come, clean you up. Kundija Majidam, like we did that. So devotees come and clean. But devotees themselves not clean fully, what happens? We have to go towards the higher devotees, the Uttama Bhaktas or Madhyama Adhyaris, and get the knowledge. We shouldn't think we are okay. And this person says, I'm okay. I'm happy with where I am. Don't force me. I didn't even force, but he's not meaning that I'm forcing him. He's saying, don't force me. In a sense, you guys, don't force me. I said, no one's going to force you. No one, even Krishna will not force you. Why would we? Okay, I told you it is guaranteed. What if you take another birth? What if, because of whatever impious activities you had in the past, you became a poor person, unhealthy, sick person, and uneducated, and in such a bad atmosphere, unfavorable atmosphere? What will you do? How will you do bhakti? Will you even get a mood and spirit to do bhakti? Why, especially in our congregation, ISKCON congregation, we earn and save? Why? We wanted to retire in Vrindavan or Mayapur or our hometown and do bhakti for the rest of the life, right? So we wanted to save to a certain extent, and then we stop. Whatever age one chooses, it depends upon their personal opinion. And then they want. Who doesn't have that impulse? Who doesn't have that impetus within our ISKCON devotee community? As far as I know and heard, I might be, because I'm still inexperienced, I'm still new to the devotional platform. Some of you know better than me, of course. You might come across no one has, some part of the community might not have that intention yet, but that's fine. But as far as I know and heard, we all wanted to go stay in a peaceful place. Why we go for retreat? Why we get, so happy about when big devotees come, great personalities come to our town and take us for retreat or take us for a ride of series of glories, this Bhagavata Kathas, Hari Kathas. Why? Because we wanted it. And yes, some of us are interested in listening, hearing, Shravanam. And some of us are interested in Smaranam. And some of us are interested in Seva. So it doesn't matter. But still we all get the opportunities. Correct? So I told this person about this fact that what is the guarantee that you will get that next life? And he was stunned. He started to think. But I wasn't able to continue the conversation because I had to go. But the point here is that no guarantee, even this lifetime, what to speak of next lifetime. All of a sudden, some material contamination comes like a coronavirus. And then we had to stop our activities. And of course, from Corona Acharya, we learned so much, life, how to live in isolation. There was a lady who is an athlete, and he wanted to experiment something to give some learning to the doctors, psychologist. So she did this experiment, going and staying in a cave for 500 days. How crazy is that? It's not crazy for her, but in Kali Yuga, you just go to any extreme to do anything. But she did say that I felt, excuse me, I don't think she said she felt peaceful, but she did say that I was able to finish so many of my books that was pending. So that's okay. Even I would have done that as well. I would have taken entire 12 cantos of Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita and everything with me and read them all. But I'm afraid of lizards, actually. I'm not even afraid of snakes, but I'm afraid of lizards. But of course, if I see snake, then you will know what I do. But I might jump up and down to Kailash and to Patal Loka, like Narada Muni did it in yesterday's class, I told. But the point is this, that if we want to get out of cycle of birth and death, to get out of this fearful contamination, we will have to perform bhakti, right? This Vaidhi bhakti given to us because it is known that we are not going to do spontaneous bhakti. Sometimes we do get spontaneous bhakti, but that's just to show us the glimpse, how it will taste like, so that we can continue with this Vaidhi bhakti. So when we see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who came 500 years ago in the mood of Radharani, he is combined form of love of Krishna and Radha. When he came, after 24 years, he was just loving, naughty boy, like Krishna. He was doing all naughty things in the school and outside and home. But when he turned 24, he wanted to take sannyas. Already, Vishwarupa, his elder brother, took sannyas earlier, long ago. So mother and father, Mother Sachi and father, were so upset that the first son did the sannyas. See, even though they are so exalted personalities, to become parent of this child, who's none other than Krishna, it's not an easy job. Mother Devahuti is not an ordinary woman. Devahi, no, ordinary woman. Yashoda, not ordinary woman. Then the same thing with Sachimata as well, right? So they are not ordinary personalities, but still they felt that relationship, emotions, Vipralamba Bhav, right? When they have to feel the separation from the Lord. So when he wanted to take sannyas, they became very upset. She, of course, father passed away before, only mother, single mother, and she became very upset. And so they wanted to come, like a long story short, she wanted to make a compromise because she can't live without her son. And same goes with the son as well. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also wanted to see her mother. But the rule of sannyas is you can't see your mother. You can't live with your relatives. You can't live in the same town as your relatives or your parents. It has to be far away. So Mother Sachimata said, well, I wanted to see you, but this is the thing. Then what shall we do? Then she thought about it. Okay, how about I am in Navadvip, you go stay in Jagannath Puri. So it's not too far between these two places. Then you come and see me regularly. And he agreed. So what he would do is send Mahaprasadam from Jagannath to Mother, and then Mother would do the same thing. One time he happens to be wandering around, and then he went to, I think, Advaita Acharya's house where Mother was staying, Mother Sachi was staying. And he was surprised to see the mother. The mother was so happy to see Sachinandana. And he offered obeisances, and then they embraced each other. They shared their love and emotions because after seeing after some time. And then she took in charge of cooking for her son, of course, she was making food for others also who were staying together with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But this was the mood of Mother Sachi. She didn't want to be separated from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Devahuti, here Purport also says, you need to stay in your own ashram and do bhakti. It could be anything, ashram. Luckily, we only have been made aware of 4 ashrams. If it is more, then it's going to be more complicated. So this Brahmacharya ashram, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. And trust me, whether you agree or not, Grahastha ashram is more favorable and also unfavorable. Because you get more indulging spirit, mind that, because you're not being watched or supervised. When you're being directly supervised by your guru, because you're sannyasi, staying with your god sisters, or no, not god sisters, or god brothers, or god cousins, then you get inspiration all the time. You hear the sound of the water shower at 4 o'clock in the morning, you had to do it. We say that fake it until you make it. You'll have to do it. Like in hostel also. When I was studying in a hostel, in my life, most of my life, I was staying away from my parents. Only until year 12, I was staying with them, but also, most of the time they were away for their business, come home at 9 o'clock. So but still the love was so intense though, because I felt that. I still feel that. Even though we have all these ups and downs between the relationship, one might expect, but still I feel the strong, reciprocation from them time to time. And I had to do my college in the hostel. So I see someone's studying one particular, during exam, they study something in particular, and I would inquire why. They say they heard something important or something. I would go and do the same thing, copycat. And when they neglect some answers, I would also neglect that answer. Then, of course, we will regret when the question comes up in your exam. That's a different story that you have to deal with. But because you are amongst the group of like-minded people in the college, we all need to get the degree, get a high distinction. My group of friends, we all wanted to get high distinction. So that means I had to endeavor for the same thing. That became natural. The same thing goes with this sannyasis or brahmacharis who stay in their own ashram. They get the inspiration very fast and very frequent in comparison with the grahasthas, unfortunately. So Vanaprastha, no problem. Husband and a wife wander around pilgriming, the places. That's great as well. Unless you don't go along with, you don't go well together. That's a different story. But you do normally because, again, you're going for the same goal, same purpose. But there will be ups and downs. But majority of the time you are okay. But the grahastha, watch out. Anytime there will be a kick from Maya ready through your children, through husband, through wife. You see what they do is right because that's circumstantial. But from devotee's perspective, what kind of parent are you? Why don't you correct your husband or your child? But from that position, what they're suffering or going through, that's their own circumstances that they had to deal with. Who we are to judge them, that's one thing. But there has to be someone to judge you so that they can tell you that you have to correct it. Otherwise, it might be out of your hands, right? So indulging one thing is available for grihasthas always. Maya is ready to kick us, always ready. And through material diseases, whatever the diseases we call, sometimes you can't even pronounce the name of your disease. 17 years ago, I was diagnosed with some particular disease. When the doctor told me that I couldn't pronounce it, I asked again and again, what is it? I was brand new to Australia. I was like 1 or 2 months old to Australia. And what is it? What is it? Is it life-threatening? And he said, it's not life-threatening as such, but it will continue in for your entire life. This is almost equal to this. You know, you have to change your lifestyle. But the doctor was not... I would rather say the doctor was a typical classical doctor, English doctor. He wouldn't say, if you change your lifestyle, you'll become better. If someone tells you that, how good is that? You know, 17 years ago, if I knew that changing lifestyle will make everything perfect, or close to perfect, of course. What can be perfect in material world except Krishna, you know? And yeah, that's the thing. And when we come back to this relationship between the God's mothers or God's parents and the God, we talked about Mother Devahuti and Kapila Muni, and then also this Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sachimata. Now Lord Ram and Dashrath Maharaj. So Lord Ram is called Dasarathi because he is the son of the king Dasaratha. So how did he behave? Dasharatha. He behaved so emotional. After leaving, the same thing. He didn't take sannyas as such, or Lord Ram didn't take sannyas as such, but he did go to the forest. It's almost like sannyas ashram, correct? So he can't indulge in anything. Of course, Lord Ram, why he has to? He's Atma Ram. He doesn't have to indulge from outside, of course. But when he went to the forest, what happened to Dashratha Maharaj? What happened to Dashratha Maharaj? Yes.
He did that.
Yes. And then?
He regretted giving.
Yes. To whom? His wife? Yeah. So, Kaikeyi, to his wife Kaikeyi. So, he not only regretted and became sad, but he died. He passed away. He left the body. How sad is that? That was so much that separation, intensification process. He couldn't tolerate that anymore, to stay in this body anymore. He just wanted to leave. That was even to the higher extreme. Father. Usually mothers do that, right? Like, as in, at least they say, I can't live without you, my son. Don't go. Like Vyashadev was saying, my son, like Shukadeva Goswami left the house as soon as he was born out of the mother. And he was 16 years old, or at least he looked like 16 years old. From the Shastras, we don't know exactly how old he was. So some say he was 16 years old, and some say he looked like 16 years old. So that's okay, whatever the case may be. Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha's mother. Think about that. So a mother, as naturally as a mother, they wanted to see the child. So when they are pregnant, they wanted to see the child. So they hanker for that. Malaba, can you close the door, please? Gently. Okay. So they just wait for that 9 months, or whatever the number of months. They say 10 months. I often say to Balam, I carried you for 10 months. Mommy, isn't it 9 months? Whatever it is, do this. So I don't know exactly. Yeah. 9 months and 17 days and 2 hours or whatever. So we blackmail them, don't we? I've done this to you. I have carried, and it's nature. But fathers don't do that, right? They carry over their shoulders and their mind and the heart. They don't say that all the time like mothers do, because it's natural for the ladies to manifest that all the emotions so explicitly, unlike the men's. It's the design defect or design, thing, whatever. Yeah. So any mother, when she is pregnant, she can't wait to see the child. But what did she do? Diti, mother of Hiranyakshar and Hiranyakashipu, she doesn't want to get the children out because she knew they are demons. As soon as they come out, they're not going to do the good things, going to the temple of Narayana and say, Om Namo Narayana. They'll say they hate Narayana. They're waiting to kill Narayana. Who can kill Aja, the one who is unborn? Even, Hanyate Hanyamane Sarire, even us, we cannot be killed. What to speak of the Lord? How foolish Jay and Vijay became when they came to material world, unfortunately. They were so brilliant, effulgent, four-handed, Vishnu-looking form in Vaikuntha Loka. Sometimes we see when children, not children, people come from India, going to Western countries for education or something. And what they do, they go and work in restaurants like a waiter or waitress. I did that. When I came as a student, I was working as a waitress. I was taking the dirty plates, cleaning the table, and it's okay to us. But what if our parents see this? Oh my God! Of course, I'm not coming from rich family. Let's assume that I came from rich family, right? Like with silver spoon born or golden spoon born. If my parents saw me doing that, it's not bad. We should understand that. Even in seva, one who is cleaning, equally important to one. In fact, they are better than someone sitting and preaching, because without them, things cannot function, right? Without this preaching, the prasadam can still go and preach the people, clean the people's heart. But again, I shouldn't compare such a way, but I'm just telling how cleaning is important in any facility, in any organization. Cleaning toilet is more important. How people, the face will go disgusted when you see ugly place or dirty place, right? So the cleaning is important. So if my parents saw me doing that, they would go like, this is why I gave birth to you. This is why I sent you this Western country. Why are you doing such a job? Very menial job. But here, fortunately, in Western world, no one discriminate the jobs, the nature of the job, the level of job. In fact, they get paid more. The electricians and plumbers, and in India, they still don't get paid more, unfortunately. The cleaners, they still get ill-treated by the public, unfortunately. So that's still we need to learn a lot from there. So the point here we take from these relationship that we have seen, the examples of Lord Ram and Dashrath, or Kapila and Devahuti, or Sachi and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. No lessons, just an understanding though, no lessons. Because that's the relationship how Krishna wants to make or establish with different personalities. Even if you see with the story is the same. The son is leaving the house, leaving the parents, but the different consequences or different reactions from the parents' side. Not the same. Because Krishna doesn't want to repeat the same cinema to the public, Like some of the movies you see, it's the same story, but the heroes and heroines are different. The songs are different, especially if it's Indian movie. But in Krishna cinema, everything is brand new. Even if you see the same pastime again and again, you still somehow you relish it. The little Krishna, sometimes I watch it, for Vallabha when he was a baby. He's not watching that anymore. But when he was little, younger, he used to watch. And of course, I sit and watch with him. When I used to do that, it's repetitive, but I enjoyed it. It's the same thing. it's material, through material medium we are watching, through a TV or a laptop, whatever it is. It's still same, but you're relishing it. So that is Krishna. That is his pastime, right? So two things we learn is, one, just follow this path, especially grahasthas, be aware, and it dissipates the fearful thoughts, and then two is get us out of cycle of birth and death. Who will give you this type of bonus? And just because you're doing this, you're doing it for our own benefit, you're still getting bonus. In Tamil, we say karumbu tinna kooliya. We say that means, why do you need to get, you are getting paid to eat sugarcane. Sugarcane itself is sweet, free sugarcane. On top of that, you're getting paid to eat the free sugarcane. How good is that? So like that, doing devotional service itself beneficial, and it's relishing fact. And on top of that, you get all the bonuses. You go, if you want to go to Vaikuntha of Narasimhadev, you go there. You want to go to Varahadev's Vaikuntha, you can go there. Navadvip Dham in spiritual loka, you want to go, you can go. You can choose your deity, and you can go to that Vaikuntha loka or that eternal abode. The choice is also given. How good that be? And if you don't do that, the warning, you can't get out of cycle of birth and death. Simple as that. And then come back here, and there will be new inventions